Welcome to Football or Soccer, the podcast with me, Sam Palmer, Tony Tafe, and Christopher Dyson for our question and answers episode.
Let's go.
So we've been asking everyone on Instagram, send us your questions, and we'll answer them. And I think we've been sent alive enough to start. So we're going to get straight into it. Who would win a fight out of Joey Barton and Roy Keane? So I've seen on Joey Barton's podcast this week, he's challenged Roy Keane to a fight, a boxing match.
Did he really?
Said he'll spank him all over the place. He said he can bring Gary Neville as well, and he can tag Gary Neville in after, and then he'll batter both of them. So I think probably what football's trying to move away from a little bit. But
Well, I think that's a little bit of Joey Barton also trying to be a bit newsworthy as well for his podcast. I'm going to be controversial and say.
You think it's a bit of clickbait?
I think so. But
Using
at the
names
same time,
to get a bit of a...
I mean, we're talking about it. I mean, look,
Yeah.
but it's a fun one. I tell you this, I wouldn't want to be on the other side of either of them, but Joey Barton, I think, is a psychopath more than maybe Roy Keane is. Like, he wouldn't give a F. But I think Roy Keane's just...
Bit older, Roy, though.
Yeah, but...
Yeah, he's a few...
Are we saying now or in their prime? Like, who would you...
Oh,
who would
yeah,
you, who,
two
who would
questions,
have
isn't it?
I mean, I think Roy Keane's just fucking nails, isn't he? I mean, I would...
I wouldn't want Roy to lose.
He's the most intimidating... Yeah, exactly. He's more... For me, Roy Keane's the most intimidating...
Is he one of the most intimidating men ever in football?
I think he might be.
And Sui, I suppose.
Soonest, I mean, yeah. Roy just...
No, there's a lot. There's a lot of them. I
You
don't
don't
know.
see the hard
obviously
man anymore, do you?
Not really.
Every club
because
had a hard man
they
years
wouldn't
ago,
last
didn't they?
5 seconds on the pitch, would they?
No, like Julian Dix at West Ham, hard as nails, Vinnie Jones.
Vinny, yeah.
Like everyone had a hard man. Vieira.
Yeah.
Like they were everywhere, weren't they?
I tell you what, Vieira didn't give a... I mean, he wasn't intimidated by Roy Keane.
No,
not at all. I mean,
that would be a good boxing
nails.
match.
I think Roy probably... Just because Vieira's a huge... If you're being serious...
Yeah, he's huge,
he's
isn't he?
massive.
I mean, Roy
Sat next to me
Keane...
at the bar the other day, I was like,
or Joey Barton, by the way. None of them are the biggest of fellas,
No.
are they? I think they're both like 5'9" or something.
Who are you taking in that fight? If you've got to put your money on it, who are you having?
Today,
Yeah.
Joey Barton,
Oh,
because he's
go with the
younger.
Scouser.
And I just don't think Roy Keane would be bothered enough.
That's probably fair.
But I don't know. I just fucking hate loudmouths like Joey Barton. He's a fucking idiot. The lad's an idiot.
Say what you see.
You know?
Yeah.
I can't stand that stuff. I can't stand shouting for shouting's sake. You know?
Agreed. And Roy doesn't
It-
do that,
it-
does he,
the-
to be fair?
No, he doesn't do it. And that means that when he says something, it carries some weight.
Weight, exactly.
Where you've got the other. I think Joey Barton's an idiot. But in their prime, I don't know. Probably, I'd actually probably have Roy Keane in their prime. If they
Yeah.
were
Didn't he
both
box?
25 years old,
Didn't Roy Keane
30
box?
years old,
Maybe.
I
I'd
thought
probably
he had
have Roy
some,
Keane.
I don't know.
Yeah,
quote
I
me on
wouldn't.
that.
I would have fancied Roy Keane in the heyday. I think age might actually, because he's probably 10 years older than Joe Barton, isn't he?
Yeah,
I
probably.
think at least. Yeah, I think so. I mean, the thing is, though, Roy Keane did go through that little phase of doing the interviews where he's saying silly stuff as well. You know,
Not
so...
like Joey Barton, though, huh?
No, because a lot of
'cause
Roy's what he's
remember-
come back with actually stood true. Roy Keane was a big downfall of Manchester United, man. And he was right with Pogba, with Lingard, with
Yeah,
these
but he was
players.
saying silly stuff about like Alex Ferguson's wife, and I mean not about directly about his wife, but he said like I'm surprised he didn't have his wife working at the club. Where when I saw that, and this is a few years ago, and I was like, oh.
Do
that
you
was
think
probably
Roy
unnecessary
Keane
to say
and
that.
Alex Ferguson both just want each other to say, I love you?
No.
No, I think they do.
Yeah, no, I
No,
don't think
I
I
don't-
don't
I
think
think-
so either.
I think Roy
No.
fucking hates him.
I think
No,
I
I
think
they
they're very
hate.
similar.
I think they hate what it is, and that's just become this
I
thing.
don't think
obviously.
either of them need the other. I think they're.
I think they both wouldn't like the way it's gone. If they were truth, Roy will say couldn't care less.
Yeah.
But I actually think, and actually, really, that fallout
Yeah.
has actually probably stopped Roy Keane being around Manchester United,
Yeah, for sure.
which actually is
I
probably
think
the
it's
man
it's
they
a
needed
big shame.
there.
I think they're possibly very close to being exactly the same
Yeah.
personality, aren't they?
Yeah.
Like there's only room for one.
Yeah.
You know, with both of them, they can't take up the same space. Those guys.
I always said I think Roy Keane would have been the greatest man to have gone in after Ferguson, and I still stand by
No.
that. I do.
I'd love to have seen what
Because
would
I
happen
think
there.
I think Roy Keane's problem in management is he couldn't understand
Yeah, I don't
players
say.
that didn't want
Do
to
what-
be the
yeah,
best.
yeah.
And I think at
Yeah,
that time
but-
at Manchester
but
United,
don't
they just won
forget
the
that
league.
the
I think
players-
if he took over from there, I think Roy Keane would have done it. I think he would have done a fantastic job of that because I think he would have carried on the legacy of the club of kind of what we said in the last episode of where they went away from. I think Roy Keane would have carried it on.
To your point on that, and I won't say who we were with, but we were with a guy, weren't we, who's playing right now, and we asked him about why, about Ferguson, and he was like, you can't do that anymore. And I was like, what do you mean you can't do that? You can't talk to people like that, and you can't shout. And I was like, really? Because I think, anyway.
I wonder
you
if anyone's
can't.
actually tried it or they're just too scared to do it.
Maybe. I don't know.
Right,
I
we're
mean,
moving on.
but
I'm
don't
taking
forget
Roy.
though, Sam. Before we move on from that, don't forget though that Roy Keane would have been going into a squad that David Moyes took over, and that squad was not a good. They
but
were
was
all
it if you
on
were
their last
like
legs.
David Moyes was not a winner, right? Like in the sense he wasn't a top manager, and I think people come in and it's
He
been
could
said,
have been a winner though.
what?
I think he could have been a winner.
No, but he wasn't.
David
What I
Moyes.
mean is, I think when they brought him in,
I
people
agree.
like Rio Ferdinand, etc., were like, "This guy's come from Everton."
Yeah, they didn't-
And I think there was a bit of that snobbishness from the players.
Well,
but
they
I think if
didn't have
Roy
the respect.
Keane
He
comes
wasn't-
in,
he wasn't credible enough for that job.
No.
I think he was. He was capable enough.
me too. Yeah,
But
I
he
agree.
wasn't credible enough with the players, I think.
And that- I think that was
and
his-
I know what you're getting at. I would have loved to have seen Roy Keane take that.
Because Rio said that first trip that they went to
Well, I wouldn't have
in
loved to see it, 'cause
Japan,
I think he might have done well,
and he
but-
said he got on the flight and he said, and
Yeah.
he looked at David Moyes and he was like laying back in the seat and he went, "Oh, big club, this, isn't it?" Like because he wasn't used to the commercial side of it. And Rio said, "I looked around and thought, cool, I hope no one else saw that." Like, and he said that little bit is enough for them top players. They had only dealt with Ferguson, so Roy Keane would have come in with still that mindset. That's my opinion. I think Roy Keane
And that's
would
the
have
difference
been.
between being a great manager and a great coach. And that's where and I sometimes think that's
Also, Roy
get
Keane
that
probably
wrong.
would have kept a lot of the coaches there
yeah.
that were already there. David Moyes got rid
But
of
it's
them.
that aspect of the job which I think is super important. Is just with the little things you demand the respect of the players.
Yeah.
And they won't. And
Anyway,
because of that, they'll run
I would
through
love
walls
to
for
see
you, or they
fucking
won't,
Joey
and
Barton.
That's the issue.
I would love to see Joey Barton getting a slap off Roy Keane. I would love to see that.
Yeah,
I
that would be
pay
fun.
good money to see that.
Get
That would
Jake-
be fun.
Get Jake
Right.
Paul to be the promoter, and we might see it.
If you were a player and you had the choice of the MLS or Saudi coming to the end of your career, let's say Kevin De Bruyne next year
Yeah,
is being spoke about, right? Where would you go?
I think it depends on the play. It depends on how much dough you've got.
Let's just say Kevin De Bruyne. So you're a
All right,
big
well,
earner.
all right, well, if it's Kevin De
Or
Bruyne, I
Mo
think,
Salah. Let's just say you've.
well, Mo Salah's a bit different because he's Egyptian, isn't he? He's got the there's that.
Let's use Kevin De Bruyne then.
Kevin De Bruyne's a good one. I think you've got to come here for the lifestyle.
Yeah.
Because it's not the dough. I mean, Saudi, I think, look, you can have a beautiful lifestyle in Saudi, obviously, in Dubai and everything close by that you can take advantage of. But I think I'd rather live here, because I do.
Yeah.
And I think from a lifestyle point of view, you could argue, and obviously everyone's different, treading that line. I think you'd have a better lifestyle in the States. But again, it depends on where you sign. If you're Miami or if you're Los Angeles, if you get stuck in maybe somewhere that's, not as...
Tone,
not-
your webcam's gone down. We've just seen. I can see.
I know, I miss you.
We're gonna work on Tony getting that back, but we'll carry on. But Tony, you've got a bit of a webcam issue.
I can hear you, though.
We can hear you. I think you're. Yeah, exactly. It's probably a good
What a
thing,
result.
actually. Yeah. But I think you're right. I think the players that have come to America have thoroughly enjoyed their time, and I think here, obviously, they go under the radar, so they get to live a bit of a normal life. We've seen, which is a big. Yeah, we
There
got
you
you
go.
back.
Back in the game, mate.
We've seen some big players come here: Bex, Messi, Gerrard, Lampard, Ashley Cole.
I think you'll see more and more over there. I think the MLS league, I think, will thrive, continue to thrive. I do.
Yeah, I do
really
as well.
I do.
Do you think the Saudi league will ever get off the ground?
I think it's.
What do you mean by off the
what
ground?
both are struggling with is history, and this goes back to I think where the MLS has got a head start is that there is now you can see they're 100 years behind us.
Yeah.
And this is probably a whole nother podcast, but like the biggest difference in the fan base is that you've got generations of families that have supported. So you have that here with baseball, and you have it with NFL and all the others, but you don't have it with football yet. But you will. And that's where, our family, your family, it's like you've had entire generations from both sides that have been on that side of the fence. And so there's more, there's just more emotion, there's more history there. And I think that is starting to happen with the MLS. You go from 20 years ago in the MLS to now, you're looking at the 20 years in the future with the things that like Bex has put in, has undoubtedly changed. I think that this will be a much more compelling league.
I've got a friend that lives in Saudi actually, though, that loves it. They went from
for
Australia
sure.
to Saudi, and they love it. I think obviously money is obviously the biggest thing that keeps you there. If you're being paid like Ronaldo 200 mil a year or something, how on earth could you turn that?
You can't.
It's impossible, isn't it?
And I think that's what will happen. But I think as well with like a Salah, again, God, please, he doesn't go yet. I'm sure that I think, but that
I think he's going to sign a new contract. Chris.
Please God, as I say,
I
FSG
think he is.
Certainly, I do, and I think they'll get it right. Whatever the decision is, I trust that it's the right one. That's what I will say.
Right. Who is the best manager ever in the Premier League? Well, it was one title over 8 years. You lot, I tell you, scouts, you're off your fucking heads. I tell you, honestly, you're the most biased fan base in the world.
All right, hang on. It's an obvious. The answer is obvious, but I'm going to ask it in a different way because it's Alex first.
The answer is obvious.
All right, would Fergie, Mourinho, or Pep being able to do to Liverpool what Klopp did? That's a better question.
Yes,
because
he did it with Manchester United.
So you think
Man United hadn't won anything for years, and he did it.
I
Ferguson
would have. Ferguson. What about the other two?
It's hard because
you just
no, because
so when he says
players
it's
would have
hard
played for
because
Pep
what he means
than they
is
would have Jurgen. Because Pep was coming from Bayern Munich and Barcelona.
But he couldn't get the same players though. He couldn't get that's what I'm saying. Like Liverpool couldn't buy like City did, and Chelsea.
Listen, Liverpool have paid money. Let's not.
Yeah,
they paid
for who?
80 million for Van Dijk.
Yeah, but we also sold
80 million
and
for
then what else?
Sam, we sold three players to get them. We didn't keep the three and then buy them.
80 million for Man City is a Tuesday.
Teams did.
Well, listen, you should get better owners then, or get better commercially, because that's what Pep would have done. He would have made you a better commercial commodity, and you would have had more money.
What Pep would have done is he would have had people above him who says, "Oh no, we're apparently the biggest, the highest grossing commercial club in the world right now. Apparently, Manchester City."
Mm-hmm.
Make more money than Real Madrid.
That's why success breeds success with that.
They don't.
But the only thing is, though, you come to America and the kids all wear City tops. They all support City. So they are a big commercial commodity.
That's
now.
what I was touching on before. Is that
and I'm not saying that they're not commercially successful, but Manchester City were number one on the football team commercial, whatever the list is, the Deloitte or whatever, the rich list. Manchester City were number one over Real Madrid.
That's why you've got to be so careful about cultivating this success toe as well, because like we talked about how United are now getting into that sort of stage where maybe is it Liverpool 2.0 where the fans will forget, or the new players, the new generation of fans don't remember the Liverpool heydays and then it took so long. That's why. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think they're definitely getting there. But what my point of saying that Manchester City are number one
You're saying it's
on
rubbish.
This rich list is that it's bullshit.
Well, it's
how,
not.
on, how on earth do Manchester City, 100 million, 200 million, 150 million, 100 million, 150 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 million the
What you're
second biggest
saying, the
club
figures
in a
have been
small
all
town in
these
the
new
northwest
fans,
of England.
if you're a new fan and you're wanting shirts and that, you're supporting the guys that are winning. That's if you're not brought up in Manchester, you know, if you're not an ardent fan, that's global, isn't it?
It's well, what I mean, but do you think that they generate more income than Real Madrid? Real Madrid,
I don't know.
Manchester
Well,
City.
you'd say the Premiership is watched a lot more than La Liga.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
without
yeah.
a doubt.
I
Globally.
know, but it's Real Madrid. I mean, Real Madrid are worldwide the
They
number
are, but
one
it's not
supporter
watched as
team
much
by a
as
million miles.
outside of Spain as it is the rest of the world.
They were
As the
always-
Premier
Well,
League.
okay, then let's put it this way. So it must be how they're basing the commercial revenue must be on merchandise sales because for
TV.
um no because for TV Liverpool are actually the highest paid team in the world because more of Liverpool's games are played and we're we spent
That's why we
like
get the 12:30 kickoffs,
16 million or something in the summer
So more people
and
can see it.
our owners are afraid to spend money apparently, but there's just no way. Listen, if somebody said Manchester City earn more than Liverpool commercially, I'd be like, I doubt it, but I don't know the numbers. I can't question it. When they say they earn more than Real Madrid,
So a lot of
no
people
way,
in the east.
Jose.
So that's why we're always
Yeah.
on those tours. We're always, going east.
Yeah.
well,
people.
listen, they're
And that's where
also
Man
being
United
And
got,
shirts are expensive.
and Man United got it years ago, that Far East, didn't they? Where they were the
yeah,
first
but it
real
took
team to go
Man
to China,
United
wouldn't
a long time to get to that point. It
they?
feels like
Maybe.
it took City 3 years.
Right, we're moving on.
Go on.
Did Gareth
Wait,
Southgate...
no, wait,
Jurgen
hang
Klopp,
on.
by
I
the
don't
way,
want to
was the right
move on.
answer.
I want to talk
Jurgen
shit
Klopp was the
about
correct
City
answer,
somewhere.
Tom.
The answer is Sir Alex Ferguson. Did Gareth Southgate over or underperform as England manager?
This is a good one.
Tough question, that. I'm going to say
It is a tough one.
I think he overperformed. I really do. Because there's no God-given right you should be in finals.
I think he got very lucky with the draws that we got on both sides of those tournaments.
100%. But
And
then
I
you
think-
can't... That's nothing to do with him.
Did you enjoy watching the games?
No.
Correct. You see, this is.
But was that great for tournament football?
No, I think no one was happy with him until we got there, and we were.
Or was that the David Moyes
Well, I
syndrome
think-
at West Ham, where you go, "Oh, I just hate watching it because it's not pragmatic." It's
So this goes to my point again about inspiring figures. Now, do you need a guy? Because Gareth, God bless him, and I really like him. I do. I've got nothing.
and I think he's
against the
done
fella.
amazing for English
Of course
football.
he has. He's done great. But do you need? Does that person need to be more of an? Because those players know how to play. You look at all the other the other big world. The national sides aren't necessarily. But we're the only national side that has a fixation with spending 50. Getting a world class manager who's not. It's. I don't think any other country has the scrutiny on them for their national manager than we do. And
mate, they do.
No, but I don't think it's like this
Not
furor
like
with the
us.
press with it of
No.
like. Well, no other national, no other top
Brazil-
one takes a non-Englishman.
That's right. That's
If Brazil
from the
don't
country,
win,
sorry.
yeah.
if Brazil don't win every single World Cup, their manager is crucified.
I don't.
I know that, but that's because there's massive expectations.
We've got
in
a
Brazil.
fixation that they've got to be.
Well, like Brazil
for
aren't
example,
bringing in
Lee Carsley hasn't
Ancelotti,
got
are
the
they?
job, but he would probably get that in another country.
Yeah.
He'd step up from the under-21s. He's done his job there. Go into the under-21s. Here, it was a big thing about Lee Carsley. He's not the right man. He's not this because he's not a big name. And
So, but this is my point.
I
about,
think Lee
like, the guy
Carsley
being-
wasn't the right man because he bottled it
Who's that?
when he
Sorry,
got in
Tom?
front of the press. I was saying
I
that
think Lee Carsley bottled it because I think he knew he wasn't going to get it. I think he gave that. I think he'd done that. I think it was a Greece game where he played that team. I think he was already told that Tuchel was coming in.
Yeah.
I really
But
do.
here's my point with that as well. Like, I love Thomas Tuchel. Like, my initial reaction when I thought he did great at Chelsea, them letting him go, I thought was very harsh. I think he's a great guy. Again, inspirational, credible, figure for me at least. I enjoyed watching him go about his business. But if we're playing hello, hi girls. If we're playing Germany in the tournament, you know, how does he motivate? How can he be credible? And I'm not saying he can't, but like, how do you? Because I think that's what that guy needs to do, is be that inspirational figure rather than the great technical coach. The guys can, you know, you want those guys going into that game on fire. And is he that guy?
Here's I'm kind of, I think, with you a little bit. I don't think you need a top manager to manage an international team. I really don't. And we've seen this with Chris Coleman, for example. Done an amazing job at Wales. Wouldn't even get a job in the Premier League. So I think England fans, I think we had that in Southgate. And maybe he was just slightly wrong. Maybe there's another British coach who's a bit more pragmatic than Southgate, and it might have been Carsley. Or it might have been Eddie Howe. Eddie Howe wasn't even interviewed for the job. Like, that's outrageous.
Yeah. Crazy that, isn't it?
That is, it's mad when you think he's got
Is Eddie Howe super inspirational to you? Do you look at him and go, I'll walk
No, but then
for that guy?
what British coach is? Name a British coach that is. None of our coaches coach abroad. So we've got a real problem with British coaches, and we created St George's Park for this lifeblood of English football, for coaches, things like that. There's no British coaches, but you have to look.
You know what I mean by that, though?
I completely agree.
You know, when you look at Ferguson and you look at these top managers, there's one thing that runs right through: is you don't
cross the boss.
Correct, but also you know, they've got that thing where you will again walk across traffic for the coach, and you know there's a power about them which I don't know.
You know what I loved as England manager?
But I don't think Gareth Southgate had.
I think we had two in England in our three. We had Sir Bobby Robson, obviously. Then we had Glenn Hoddle, which everyone who played under him said, what a coach, like one of the best coaches ever. And actually, the press wanted him gone, really, because of the faith healer. But a lot of the players you spoke to, I heard David Sim talk about Eileen Drury, most famous name in England, wasn't she? Eileen Drury, faith healer. He was talking about her with his shoulder, and he said it really helped me. He said, like, I had a surgery on my shoulder, and she done her faith healing. And he said it really helped. Wow. He said, so some people took it on, and actually he was probably a bit forward thinking in them times. Obviously, then he had his thing because he's born again Christian. I think it was the disabled people had been punished for sins in the previous life, which obviously was a stupid quote. But actually, Glenn Hoddle, I think, was a top coach for England.
What about Venables, though? I think Venables,
the ultimate
they should have kept
manager.
him. They should have kept him.
So you put Terry Venables type with this group of players. Do you think he would have done better or worse than Southgate?
I think it's
I
really
always thought
difficult
Harry
to
Redknapp
compare.
would have done well with England.
I agree with you. That's my point. And I mean, you know, I
think it was sad Harry never got that goal
I'd
on
love
England
to
because
have
he
seen
wanted
that.
it so bad, didn't he?
And
they
it
were
would have
all
been
saying
great.
at one point he got it, and then they went somewhere else, and they gave it Big Sam in the end, I think, and that turned out bad.
How do you think?
agree with you with that.
How
I'd
do you
love to
think
have seen him do it.
Sam would have done if he because he just managed one game, I think, didn't he, Allardyce?
Most successful
how do you
England
think he
manager
would
of
have
all
done?
time.
Yeah, 100%
100% win record.
Yeah.
I don't
How do you
know.
think
I
he
think
would have
we
done?
were in a different style with players then. You had like your Andy Carrolls and things like that up front then. We were in a different spot for playing wise. We were going to see maybe Sam would have played a more offensive flowing football because he had the players to do it. Because Sam has managed teams that haven't had the players. So actually, going back to now playing out the back, it's stupid to keep doing that. It's absolutely
Yeah, but you know
stupid.
what, though? When he got the Newcastle job, he did exactly the same as what he was doing at Bolton.
When he got the
A
Newcastle
decade
job, they were in
earlier.
a championship.
No, I know, but he was playing the same way. Like, he's never played in a different way, is what I'm saying, no matter who he's managed. And Newcastle had some good players, but he's only ever played in one way. And listen, I think Allardyce probably would have done well with England, but
I think everyone with
I don't think he was versatile.
Well, we're going to.
We talk about
weirdly, we've got quite a
Postecoglou.
few questions on England today. The next one is: should an Englishman be the England manager?
Well, we've just had a go. Oh. I think if you held a gun against my head, I'd say yes.
And
But
I
the
do
reason
as
I
well.
just said, and I love Thomas Tuchel. I think he's ace.
Me too. I'm
really do, and
I'm quite excited by him.
I am, and I think
I think we would have all loved Pep or Jurgen. I think
Yes.
every one of us would have embraced that.
Yeah.
But I think you're saying, unless they're the top manager in the world, which I think is Pep or Jurgen at the time,
Yeah.
it should be an Englishman.
Well, again, you've got to rally the troops as
So
much
I
as
think-
as much as getting them to play in a specific way. You've got to make sure they run through walls. And
Is one of our problems English coaches, like, so in Germany, etc., they go and they're in under 21s at first. Then they get stepped up to, say, be the Bayern Munich boss or etc., like Barcelona or someone like that. But they've worked in their lower league. Our English bosses, let's use Lampard and Gerrard. Are they too eager to get into jobs, which then ultimately ruins them, rather than doing the hard yards in the coaching stages, to then so when they get to the managers, they're going too quick compared to the foreign managers who sit in the under 21s for a while or reserves.
Stevie do that though. Stevie cut his teeth
for a
in
year, I think, didn't he?
Yeah, I can't remember exactly, but I feel like he did that.
And then went to a top job outside of that club where he's not in. Do you see what I mean? I think that's what I think happens in a lot of world football is they're actually under 21 managers that get stepped up, or they're in a club, they get stepped up to the manager leaves, they're the next successor. And I think that's what German football, for example, has done that with a lot of managers who have then got into the roles. So then they've got a lot of German managers in the German league, where England, how many English managers are in the English league?
Yeah.
English managers never won the Premier League.
That's frightening, isn't it?
That is frightening that an English manager's never won the Premier League in 30 odd years.
What do you think? Do you think because if you look at the great managers as well, they weren't always great players. And do you think what do you think about, do you think that's a thing? Like, so you look at Jurgen Klopp was a journeyman player, but obviously we know what he's done that. Same with Wenger, same with Ferguson.
Yeah, but I think they also went into coaching a lot earlier and actually...
Yeah, and I think that's got a lot to do with it. Like Eddie Howe did exactly the same thing, talking about English managers. He went into coaching earlier than, most players would. I think he had a couple of big injury problems. He was never the best player. But
look at Jose, was Bobby Robson's interpreter that then was doing well, then went into coaching.
Yeah.
So they kind of, I think our footballers get shoved into jobs quicker because of their names. And I use Lampard and Gerrard for an example. Rooney, they get put in by names, but yet they haven't probably done the hard yards that they need.
Rooney's
because
doing
they
hard
don't want
yards
to. I
now,
think because they get offered jobs.
Do you think you need to be maybe a little bit? Gerrard's a surprise because I think everyone respects Stevie G for whether whichever side of that debate you fall on, best midfielder, whatever. Like you can't argue with his credibility within the game. And
by the way, just to go back to that, Chris, he's better than Lampard and Scholes. But anyway, let's carry on.
I've had that this week with
all three of them never done it in management.
But again, like Paul Scholes, he's not that. You don't look at Paul Scholes and go, he should be a manager. You might do with like Carragher, for instance. Like I wouldn't have minded seeing him try it. But
who's the one that always surprises me that never made it as a manager? Tony Adams.
That's a great point. Well, there you go. There's my point. Tony Adams, you wouldn't mess about with him, and he's a very inspirational guy. And
you don't ever see Tony Adams around football either, do you? Now it's quite sad, isn't it?
I agree.
He was manager somewhere though.
Yeah, he Wickham and then Portsmouth as well. He done, but
wasn't he wearing that wild suit when he was Wickham manager?
Yeah, I think he's quite an outrageous dresser, Tony Adams. But it's weird that Tony Adams that you don't see him on podcasts. You don't see him. You don't really hear of Tony Adams.
Well,
Tony Adams
doesn't he run a rehabilitation clinic?
I know he does that.
Footballers.
It'd be an interesting person to hear from because I know. I wonder if, obviously, the drink was one of them with Tony. I would have thought that people had to stay away from him a little bit, maybe if he was drinking. But then you see someone like Merce, who's always struggled with gambling, stayed on TV the whole time, which is quite funny. Like maybe I don't know, maybe he's a bit out there, Tony Adams. I don't know, but from when everyone talks about him, when you see Ian Wright talk about him, he was the leader. Like
That's exactly. Yeah,
you would have thought he'd gone on to being a
shame
top
that.
manager.
It's a shame. I would have loved to have seen that journey.
And an England manager.
Correct. Yeah, I would love to have seen that journey.
Yeah, it's funny that some of them don't, but I do think our coaching system is probably to do with why we don't step up managers from the Championship to the Premier League a lot. Obviously, Maresca's just done it, but again, been coaching under Pellegrini, been coaching under Pep. Then he goes to the Championship. So he's done his Arteta coaching under was at Arsenal, I think. Then he went to Man City coaching under Pep. Then he's all of a sudden gets his own job. That they put in the yards of coaching.
Do you think that, as I say, onto that point again, do you think there needs to be more of a gap from them being a player to then, do they need more, miles under their belt to have the credibility maybe, or to have more battle scars?
Maybe so.
Maybe
right.
5 or 10 years. Anyway.
We've got to take a short break here, and we will be back in 1 second. Welcome back to Football or Soccer. We're on our question and answers episode. I just want to touch back to, obviously, the last question. I think we probably need, for English managers to succeed in England, in the Premier League and as an English manager, we probably have to sacrifice our league a little bit to get English coaches managing in the Premier League. And I don't think that will happen because of the money and everything available there, where we go out to the rest of the world to bring in the top managers around the world.
Yeah, it's a fair point.
That's probably where Germany have sacrificed their league over, and for their national teams, etc. France the same, maybe.
I don't know about, but it's certainly like it's the free market and what the Premiership attracts. It's probably been that's probably one of the downsides of it being maybe the best league in the world, is that it does attract the best managers that aren't necessarily English,
and the money, and
it's hard for them to come in. Yeah.
So a club like Man City, for example, isn't going to take a risk on the under-21s manager because they need success right now, same as Liverpool, United, etc. Not that they couldn't do it, but I don't think we're going to get. And I think that is always going to hurt our national team because we don't produce coaches.
Well, I think you've hit the nail on the head. It's hard for them to get a look in when the demand, the best coaches in the world from elsewhere can come in.
I think also the other thing is because they don't go abroad either. Very few English managers go abroad, and that
the last successful one that went abroad was
of not learning new languages.
Like, who's the last successful English manager that went abroad? It was probably Bobby Robson, wasn't it?
Roy Hodgson, Bobby Robson.
No, successful.
He managed Barcelona.
Hodgson wasn't successful, was he?
I think he went to Inter Milan, didn't he?
Bobby Robson won the Cup Winners' Cup, I think, with Barcelona.
Yeah. Terry Eltel went, didn't he? Soon
he went to Barcelona as well.
Benfica.
Yeah, he went to Galatasaray. No, he went to
Galatasaray and Benfica, I think he done, Souness.
By the way, it was very curious that I loved Graham Souness. The fact that he didn't do better when he came in at Liverpool, I think, is a tragedy. It was. Do you know what, mate? I completely agree with that. It kind of makes me sad that because soon I think we spoke on the last episode. He was my favourite ever Liverpool player, I think, and he made some mistakes when he came back, but.
Well, it was some of the players he brought in as well, like Julian Dix, Ruddock.
That's right.
Like they weren't Liverpool players.
But on paper you go, oh, that's perfect.
Like,
you couldn't have picked a better guy.
He probably picked a few too many hard men that weren't in his mould, and probably again, carping back to the Roy Keane thing, didn't understand the lesser player. Maybe.
Yeah, and they're very. They seem to be very similar personalities as well, don't they?
That they didn't do what
couldn't do what they could.
Does what? Yeah, like why
and
don't
didn't have that mentality?
Like you should. That's exactly. They didn't bear the same principles.
Next question: who will win the World Cup first, England or USA?
Well, I think I said last week there was a time when I thought the States would win it before England do. I don't know that that's the case now because we do look like we've got half a chance if we can get a bit of luck and get a few things right. But I do think. Again, because the World Cup's every 4 years, it gives America the chance to catch up quicker. Like if it was every single year, but they can bridge the gap, I think, maybe quicker.
I don't. I think they're light years behind someone like England, and not even England. I think Spain, France, Germany.
I get that, and I know it's a bold statement.
Isn't it weird why England's never won? Like when you look at Argentina, it's it's not a big nation, is it? Like it's not like it's not America, for example.
I'll tell you this: I think there's a lot to be. Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right, and I think that. In England in general, there's just
okay, Mr.
Without
Quotes.
getting all Sigmund Freud on it, but I just think there's not that belief in the UK that we can do it, maybe. And I think our press doesn't help. The press is a disgrace in our country.
Is that our biggest problem?
No.
Well,
no.
again,
Our biggest problem
Gareth
is that we're not
Southgate
good enough.
Let the shackles off. Like, did he go? We've got all these great players. Let them go nuts. Or did he play a defensive game and did he get that right? I mean, we've had an embarrassment of riches over the years. The Gerrard, Scholes, Lampard era, Rooney, that team should have beaten everybody. And we never looked any good. So, I mean...
But don't forget though, Chris, we were up against France and Brazil. Like that golden generation
that team should have been competitive.
that everybody called it. What about the plays in the other teams?
Yeah, that does go unnoticed a bit. You look at the Brazil team of them times. Like,
I mean, I believe Brazilian Ronaldo was was the best player that's ever existed on the planet on the face of the earth. That man,
you can't say that team that we had
unreal.
I agreed, but you can't say that the team that we had there.
No,
realised its potential. Not even close. I mean,
we had Michael Owen, Ballon d'Or winner in there.
Rooney,
probably the best defenders, arguably ever played a game.
That team, you'd struggle to put
in
together
Ashley
a
Cole,
better team. Yes.
Rio, Terry, Gary Neville.
Yeah,
you're talking about probably that back four is arguably the all-time greatest Premiership back four.
You'd struggle to find better.
So I mean,
you'd struggle to find better than that.
There's something other than the quality of the players that's been holding us back, and I
think the press comes into it a lot. I really do. I think the press it builds them up to knock them down, and I think there's that fear of it. I won't try that.
They're interested in selling papers and getting clicks.
Yeah,
and
but I mean, listen, we talk about the press and
everything else is not.
I think what you're saying.
Great.
Sorry, Chris. I think what you're saying is true. That the press needs to sell papers, but we're not the only people with a savage press.
No
French,
one's like the British
Spanish,
press. There's no one close like the British press. No one.
I mean, you can't.
They go personal. That's the difference. They might attack
you don't
a
get
team.
The phone tapping scandals in other, when Pierce Morgan.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's a different subject. But yeah, that's outrageous, of course. Yeah.
Not that was sports, but just in general.
The Brazilian press, the Spanish press, the French press.
They're not as personal as England, and all the managers say it. They say when it's different, they come into your private life and they attack your wife, your kids.
Look at us, Tony, in Liverpool. They still what is that now? Hillsborough's nearly 40 years ago, and they still don't sell the Sun in Liverpool because of the way they dealt with that.
I mean, they sell it, but it's just nobody buys it.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? Like,
I do know what you mean. I mean, but again, that's a different subject. Like, that's not. Having to go to a football player, the Hillsborough and the Sun.
And you wait, until
a million miles away.
When Tuchel starts losing, then
it'll be jumped on that he's German.
Thing will be first thing that comes out.
It's a layup, isn't it?
Look at that Lee Carsley because he didn't sing the national anthem. I actually saw
ridiculous.
Who's the is it Emma Hayes was the female? She was the Chelsea manager. She's the USA manager.
Now she's the
I saw her speak this week. I've got to say, she handled it so well that killed the conversation.
What did she say?
So she was USA manager, and I take it that they played England, and they said, I think she sung along with the anthem.
Did she?
Yeah, and she said, you know what it is? She said, I'm the proudest English woman in the world. I love both anthems. and I work in America. Should I love America as well? She said it's quite possible that you can actually like both. And to be honest with you, I love the American anthem. Like we all live in America. I love singing the American anthem.
Well, I'm American as well now. So
You're
I do
American
sing
as well.
it, yeah.
And so's Tone.
Yeah.
But I love singing the American anthem because we live here. So why should you not? And this big thing that got made over Lee Carsey before he even had a ball kicked. Will he sing the national anthem? Will he, won't he? And all this rubbish that wasn't anything to do with
It's bananas.
Well, they did
It's
it with
daft.
Tuchel as well, didn't he? That was his question. Will you sing the national anthem? And he had to have a think about it. It's like, well, do you want him to sing it? Do you expect him to sing it? Because I don't. He's not.
Who cares?
And I don't care. No,
Who
the players
cares?
don't sing it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
Who
it. No
cares
one has
whether
a go
he does
if,
or doesn't?
If Bukayo Saka doesn't sing the national anthem and Declan Rice does,
Yeah, half the players
no one
do
cares.
that,
They probably don't even know the words. So it's not.
I don't know the words. I did.
What,
Somebody
it
said
ain't
to me
too-
right
it
now,
ain't
sing
too
the
hard.
national
If
anthem.
you don't know the British national
You're
anthem.
not English, you're Scouse, though, Toe. That's it, isn't it?
He's vermin. That's what he is. He's
But
vermin.
no, genuinely, if somebody asked me to write those words down, I'd
What,
probably
the
get
British
about
national anthem?
half of them right.
You don't know the British anthem. God save the
No,
gracious
I
king.
mean,
It's
obviously I
it's
know what the
singing
song
with
is
King,
called.
innit? It is
Well,
tough.
but-
you
but
always say
Our
King.
entire lives for Queen,
I
so we have to
couldn't,
teach
funny,
yourself,
I
isn't it?
yeah.
couldn't in all confidence say, yeah, I can write it down word for word. I couldn't be that confident.
Oh, you
Listen,
should be
and I'm
disgusted
not
with
one of these
yourself.
people who are like fucking booing the national anthem and all that kind of stuff. Whatever people want to do, they can do. I'm not one of those people, but I don't think I've ever actually sang it.
Well,
I don't
you're
think.
lucky you're not England manager.
Yeah, that's true.
Right. We've got two more questions. Too easy. Well, I think this is just easy, this question. Who is the most universally loved player by all sets of fans? Where there's no debate about was he good?
Whatever.
Was he gay? Like, because obviously we'll hark back to the Lampard Gerrard thing, right? You've always got one set of fans or two sets of fans say no. I'm going to throw the name out here that I think it is.
Are we talking about a current player, Sam?
No,
Or
no.
Any
Right, well,
Universally.
Let's do 3, 2, 1, then say your player.
3, 2, 1.
Gaza.
David Beckham.
R9.
Oh yeah, well.
Oh, R9, you prick.
You see?
Yeah, you've got it.
David Beckham,
Yeah.
you're going to have loads of people saying, well, he wasn't that great. Luis Figo.
No,
This.
but
he's-
what are you talking about? Universally
Everybody loved
admired as a player
Well,
or
that's
just
our- that's-
liked
that's
as a
our-
person?
yeah, I mean, globally respected.
Okay.
As I think Ronaldo, R9, is the most globally respected
Yeah.
striker. That there is no debate. You know, like, you never hear anyone say, no, it's
Yeah.
Christian Vieri or it's
Well, it's
someone.
funny when,
Yeah.
when you
Yeah,
hear the
you've got a
players
point.
talk about him, you realise
It's like unanimous.
how good he was. Or you have like if you didn't know, when you hear the players, how they talk about him, you go, Jesus. Mary,
I think
God,
there's
fucking
another
hell,
one
he's-
as well from our era that I can think of. Zidane.
Yeah.
That no one goes, nah, but he didn't do it at, you know, like,
The headbutt might have hurt his legacy a wee bit, but
I don't know, I think it amped it.
Oh,
What a way
only
to
with
go
the
out.
only with the Materazzi family.
That was unbelievable way to go out, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Headbutt
isn't that
in a World
crazy?
Cup
That's how he
final.
finished his
Bosh,
last
and
game.
scored a goal in that game, didn't he? Scored a penalty, I think, in that
he
game.
lost.
They lost, yeah, lost.
It's a good. That's a good. R9 is a good shout, though.
I think R9 has got to be
R9
there.
is.
suppose
I think
there's also
R9's
Pele.
the answer.
Pele.
Pele, but before our generation. I
I
think.
mean, well, look, you look at now Ronaldo, and he's
I
the
do
most
think
followed.
I do get with Gaza though in England especially.
Well, in England, everybody loved him, didn't they?
Yeah,
I mean, he was.
But I mean, everyone loved Gaza because of Gaza as
That's what I
well.
mean.
Yes, was Gaza, but then you could say like, was Gaza the best midfielder ever? No.
No.
Was he one of? Could he have been one of them? Yes. Injuries
Yeah.
obviously prevented a lot of it, but I think R9, there is no debate, is there?
No, I think that might be the answer. You know, I think
And I think
Ronaldo
Zidane's also
might be
there
the
as well.
answer.
Definitely.
Yeah.
disrespected.
Because
No one
People
talks
talk about Messi and Ronaldo, Cristiano Ronaldo being, the better two, but then you've got all these weirdos on the internet
Say what
who
you say.
like hate the other player because
That's what I mean. Yeah, like
It's
Messi
bananas.
fans don't
It's
like
crazy.
Ronaldo. Ronaldo fans don't like Messi.
Yeah, that's
It's-
fair.
Actually, here we go. Right? Let's answer that question.
bananas.
Who's your favourite, Ronaldo or Messi?
Messi.
Messi.
Messi by a million miles. And
See,
probably because Cristiano played for Man United, but I just think Messi is
I'd probably say
he's a
Ronaldo for me.
genius.
And not no who and I'm going to caveat that because I think Messi is incredible, but I watched more of Ronaldo than Messi. I'm not a big Spanish football. I've not been watching Spanish football.
I think I have more respect. I think I respect Ronaldo more because I don't think he was blessed with what Messi was blessed with, but through
Agree,
grit,
yeah.
hard work, determination, and became the best player in the world. I think he did more with what he. I don't know if that's the right thing to say.
I don't think you can actually compare them as players. That's actually I think we were just so lucky to live in a generation that got to enjoy them both.
Yeah.
And actually, I don't actually think either of them would be as good as they are without the other.
That's probably fair
I
as
think
well.
they needed each
That's
other.
true. Yeah. And we all need that,
Yeah.
don't we? We all need somebody up our arse who's a bit of competition, who, is gonna not let you relax. Because, listen, if we can relax, let's be honest, we'll relax, won't we?
And I think in years to come, you're going to see them two sit down together a lot more.
Yeah,
With commercialization and things like that.
Do you think they're going to go on a worldwide tour together, speaking tour?
How good would it be, a TV show? Ronnie and Messi just going across somewhere, just doing
I don't
something.
think Messi speaks English, though, does he?
What?
I don't think Messi speaks English. I don't think I've ever heard him speak English.
Does. But I just mean that would be so nice because obviously they were pitted against each other their whole lives, of where they must have had that inner hatred for the other person to be able to succeed. And I don't think that either of them hated each other.
No, but I know what you mean, and I think that's healthy though. Like if
because they're both ultimate competitors.
That's right.
You'd look at Ronaldo and say he's more competitive, but he's obviously not because you can't get to Messi's level if you're not that competitive.
Yeah.
I think you look at it because we're quite... And I think that's also why I would have said Ronaldo in that. I hear Cristiano speak. I don't hear Messi speak because I don't speak...
Yeah, good point. Yeah.
Like language and that.
I just think
watched more of
ability-wise, I think Messi was born with something that nobody else has ever been born with.
That World Cup.
He is so good.
That World Cup was probably where I really watched Messi, and that was obviously the back end of his career. And he was a joy, that World Cup.
I mean, watching him in Pep's Barcelona.
I did watch it, but I probably watched, when you watch a game, you probably watch one team more than the other. I probably watched Manchester United more because I always, when I watch the English team, I want the English team to win. So I probably watched Manchester United more than I actually watched and understood Barcelona. I find it hard to actually watch a game as a whole. Yeah. It's kind of funny, even sometimes I do it with a game like Chelsea-Tottenham. I watched kind of Tottenham first half and then I watched Chelsea second half. So you kind of...
Really?
So I'm watching the runs off the balls and things like that because I find it hard to watch both teams in full. Mm-hmm.
So you can't just watch the game?
No, because I like to actually understand what they're
team.
doing. So I'll kind of watch more. Right, Chelsea are now playing out from the back. They're going to do this. They're trying to get it there. This is what they're going to do. Overload over here. And so I'll try and watch that, and I'll see errors the other team do. But I always, like with West Ham, I'll watch West Ham. I don't watch the team they're playing. I only watch West Ham, and I'm kind of, even if the ball's up there, I'm kind of looking at the back line, going, right, what are they doing over here? Is the fullback going to start? So that's how I watch football. Weirdly, but I don't know if it's the right way. It's just the way I watch it.
Yeah, no, I just watch the game.
Do you?
I do. I'm not because I wouldn't. I'd like to watch it from a technical standpoint, but yeah, I
there's a lot of times if you ask me who the other team, what players are playing for the other team, I wouldn't even know until I go, there he is. And then because now I'm watching them, but I'm actually watching our midfielders against them and things like that. Obviously against top team, you know kind of who's playing.
Yeah.
But that's where I'd be. Right, we're going to finish this off with a very important question. What's your favourite chocolate bar?
Oh, mate, I would say that's the most important question.
Let's actually talk. How shit is chocolate in America?
Oh my God.
That's a whole episode.
It's horrible, isn't it?
Oh,
when you go back to
have you ever had a Hershey's bar?
Oh, soap, bar of soap. It's like a bar of soap, isn't it?
It's
outrageous how bad that tastes, isn't it?
Oh my God. It's like, and then when you
'cause
bite
it's
into
processed
it,
milk.
it almost
Amrit's telling us why.
turns
It's
into
processed milk.
powder.
I think in England it's real milk, and in hotter countries it's powdered milk.
Is that right?
I think
Well,
that's what I heard.
that
'Cause
would make
Australia was the
sense.
same.
Really?
Yeah, not as bad as here. That Hershey's chocolate bar is the pinnacle of the worst chocolate in the world. It's not chocolate, is it?
And people love it here.
I can't have it.
The Americans, they're all about it. It's not chocolate. It's brown powder.
Yeah, and it's all it breaks, doesn't it? Like, what is
Go
your
on then.
favourite
What's
chocolate
who's
bar?
your favourite? What's your favourite?
So
Mate.
it's
Go
quite
on,
easy
Sam.
for me. I love Cadbury's whole nut, and when I go back to England, I will it. Like through lockdown, I was eating it's no wonder I am actually pre-diabetic. It's no wonder I
know
am
you are that
because I was eating a family size of whole nut chocolate every day in lockdown in London. I ate one every single day. I was training. I was training for about 2 hours and then eating one of these whole bars, and I'd eat it in minutes. But I can't say that because I have had, only in the last 2 years have I stopped this, but I have one Kit Kat a day for my whole life.
Really?
A Kit Kat a day?
Since I was about 18.
A four-finger or a two-finger?
4.
Okay.
But
You're
if
doing it
there
properly
is
now.
in my thing, because in America they do it's like a share size, and it's about 12 or 14 fingers.
Really?
And I done one on this sofa literally on Friday. I'd done the whole thing. I'd done it in minutes as well. But again,
Animal.
the Kit Kat even tastes shit compared to an English one. I have to go to the
It's
English shop
definitely
out
not
to
the
get
same.
one.
Yeah, it's not the same.
But Kit Kat is such a boring chocolate. But I literally have one since I reckon I've since 17 or 18 until 2 years ago. I had one every single day.
Did you?
Yeah.
Amazing. Fruit and nut
Animal.
for me.
Is it?
Yeah, the
Fruit and nut. Yeah,
and
that's a good shout, you know. Fruit
See,
and
I like
nut.
the whole nut, the raisin bit where it gets stuck in your teeth.
No, they're just that little bit more tang.
But from England.
From England.
Because it's creamier,
yeah.
isn't it?
I was going to say like Toblerone, but that's Swiss, isn't it?
It's
not
a
the
good
same, but
chocolate, though, isn't it?
It's a great chocolate.
Do you ever get one on the
Toblerone's
plane?
hard work,
get?
don't you find?
I get them
Do you ever? But them mammoth ones in the
mate.
airport, they're about this big, aren't they, on the
I
airplane?
bring them back for the kids and then I eat them. That's what I do.
Have you ever done one of them on a plane?
Oh, yeah, man.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
I just
100%.
done it in 10 hours. Done
Oh,
the
hang
whole
on,
thing.
hang on. Everyone stop. Cadbury's chocolate orange.
No, I hate it.
You do?
No.
No.
It's not
You
Terry's,
mean
it's mine.
Terry's? You mean
Terry's chocolate orange. Sorry,
Go
yeah,
on,
sorry,
French, jumping out.
Yeah, Terry's chocolate orange.
Yeah.
No?
It's
It's around the time
I
for
don't
it as
mind
well.
them.
Really
yeah,
is.
It's
yeah.
Christmas, isn't
Christmas, you only sell them at Christmas. Oh, that's only when I eat them. Yeah,
No,
Terry's
Easter.
chocolate orange.
Is that not an Easter thing?
No.
No, I
it's
think they
Crimbo.
started doing it, but it was always a Christmas thing.
Crimbo.
Okay. Yeah.
It's funny how
me mum,
chocolate's so big
me
in
mum
our-
always used to want one of those for Christmas, so I used to eat it. I used to buy it for her and then eat it myself.
What's yours,
Love-
Tone?
Mate, I mean, you can't get mine over here. It's just a Mars bar. It's the Mars bar.
bar.
Simple,
Yeah.
effective.
Mate,
Mars
a
bar.
Mars
Remember
bar
when
and
you
a
used to
and a
have a
cup of
Mars
tea.
bar
The
before
Beatles
football?
of chocolate. Just
What's that?
Do you
The
remember when you
Beatles
had
of
the
chocolate.
Beatles of chocolate? He said, but I said, do you remember when you used to have a Mars bar before a game?
oh yeah.
Yeah.
How
Yeah.
ridiculous that is!
Mate,
I mean,
What
though, like,
marketing that
They're
was?
so they're just so successful. They almost go, kind of. It's like they're genius, but it's just so universal now. It's almost, I don't know. It's
Have a Mars bar before a game. Remember they used to come in 2, didn't they? And like
that was
you
the
do both
king
of them
size.
for a game.
That was the king size. That was the king size Mars bar. That was only if you were posh. You got the
Yeah.
king size.
I had one.
I was always partial to.
But
picnic
yeah,
as
no,
well,
I
remember
mean,
that?
this is going to
Oh,
sound
good.
more
Double decker.
Double deckers were great.
Oh, a double decker was good as well. Remember the it was called the marathon, but it turned into a Snickers. Remember when a
Snickers, yeah.
Snicker was
Oh, mate,
called a
that's-
marathon?
That's in my top 3. I nearly said that. I've probably eaten more Snickers bars than any other bar. I'd probably say that.
Good ice cream Snickers as well.
Very.
Oh yeah, they do. Yeah, because you've got the caramel and the nuts.
Yeah, it's quite a nice ice cream Snickers. The do you get we're spending a lot of time on this.
I know, probably
but
more.
I'm going to bring it up. It's festive, right? Because you don't get it here. Like, Americans don't get quality streets and celebrations, really, right?
Yeah.
I don't think they do actually. It's like, but that is a staple of It's Christmas in England.
Have you ever tried to order a tin of that online these
Well, I'm
days?
lucky
It costs
because
about
we've got down the road
$50.
from
down
us
here, haven't
is the King's Head pub, which has got the British shop attached to it,
Yeah,
which is
yeah,
where we
yeah.
get our chocolate from. Although their crisps have gone down in there because they do the Irish crisps now. They don't do all the English ones. They do
What are the Irish
Tato.
ones?
Oh, really?
Tato.
They charge like
Oh,
I'll tell you
really?
that, but it's
Poor,
it's-
yeah.
but it's
But that's where I get my Kit Kats from, so they're English ones. So they taste better.
You know they're closing down apparently. The King's Head.
No.
Yeah. The owners sold the building.
Oh, really?
I think they're gonna. I mean, it's right there, isn't it, on Santa Monica Pier, pretty much. So I think they're gonna build some condos or apartments or whatever there.
It's a
Yeah,
shame. Well, I'm going to be going down there this week to get me
sucks.
quality streets
yeah. Stock up,
and stock up for the weekend.
remortgage
mate.
the house.
Roses are better than Quality Street, though. Roses are
We're
better than
filming-
Quality
Oh, do
Street.
you know what? I was
What
just-
was your favourite quality street? What was the one? What was the one that was always left?
Mine is, do you know mine's one of the ones that people
yeah, the
hate is
toffee
strawberry.
ones.
I love it.
Really? The coffee ones.
The toffee ones were
Oh,
left.
they were disgusting, weren't they?
No. But the purple one with the nut in the middle, the caramel and the nut.
Yeah,
No, that was
Roses
elite.
though, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Was that
Elite
Roses or
chocolate.
Quality Street?
Well, that might have
With
been
the
Roses.
nut in the
You might have
middle.
been right. I might be mixing them up.
Oh, no, I'm going to tell you an elite chocolate.
Go on.
Ferrero Rocher.
Sold.
Oh my god!
That is when your mum and dad
You know
had
it's
had a good
Christmas.
week at work. The Ferrero Rocher came out, and then you might have got an after dinner mint and after 8. Do you remember
After
them?
eight.
After 8,
Pull them out, be a bit
After
posh,
8.
you know.
100%.
Everyone got a little mint on their
Yeah.
little plate. Oh man,
your
your
stocking.
mum and dad were having it off if you had Ferrero Rochers and after 8.
What was
Amazing.
the advert for Ferrero Rocher? The ambassador's favorite choice or something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, what is it, Mr. Ambassador? You are spoiling us, Mr. Ambassador.
Hey, talking about what about Milk Tray and the adverts for Milk Tray?
Oh,
All
though?
mate.
because the lady
Oh,
loved
because
milk
the
tray.
milk
He was
tray
like-
man.
He was like a
Yeah,
spy,
wasn't
wasn't he? In the
Yeah,
James
James
Bond,
Bond.
wasn't
Yeah, the
Every
milk
day.
tray man. Didn't he climb onto the plane or something crazy
he? Yeah,
like
he
that?
done all mad stuff just to give her the milk
It
tray.
was
didn't
James
he?
Bond, yeah.
Yeah,
That's-
See,
bring that
adverts were
back.
great, weren't they?
Yeah, bring them back. There we go. Whoever does that, bring them back. They were mega.
Bring it all back. Right,
Yeah.
we got to
There you
go.
go.
Well, do you know what? I'm just realising this. We've recorded this on Monday
Mm.
as our extra episode, but it'll come on Friday. And I don't know right now whether I'm happy at this point listening to it if West Ham have got a new manager or not. Because we're playing
No, they-
in a minute, and we could have a new manager by the time I say it, or by the time I listen to this, I could be raging with myself that we've still got him. So
What do you think it would take for him to get toasted in the next couple of days?
hey, he'll lose against Wolves on Monday.
But
He's
like,
gone.
what if he loses 1-0 of it?
Oh no,
to a
he's
last
gone.
minute
He's gone.
deflected?
There's no way he's coming back. The fans won't allow that. He's gone. But if he wins, they'll probably give him another 3 weeks. So he can lose another 3 games and go even further behind. But do you know what? I ended the last one mad. I'm ending this one mad. You two have done it to me again. I'm going to be like that Arsenal fan TV soon. The pleb of plebs. Right.
Brilliant.
Have a lovely week, everyone. We will see you on Monday. Ciao.
See you soon, folks.
Cheers, guys.